whatever the scenario, you wake up tomorrow.
Yeah.
You've got no birds.
Yeah.
You can't fly them again.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
What would that mean, and how would you feel?
I don't really know. I don't really know what I'd do. It's all I've ever done. I've always said, if anything happens to falconry in the UK, and it means that you can no longer keep birds in the UK, I'm moving country to a country that you can fly birds through. That's all I really care about. You know, the days where you don't want to talk to anyone, you go pick up your bird, you go out flying, and then that's your day. Then that's all that I need: my bird, my dog, and to go out hunting. Right, so I'm Joe Franklin. I'm a falconer. My whole life is to do with birds of prey, flying them, training them, and all the great stuff that comes with them. As falconers, really, we're just avid bird watchers. What we want to do is we want to be in the field, in the situation, watching the bird of prey do what it naturally would do in the wild, but we're closer than anything else is to it, and we can even be involved as well. The role of the falconer is to engineer a situation for your bird to catch an item of quarry. When it comes down to it, the flight, it's 30 seconds, and it's the longest 30 seconds of your life. Everything slows down, everything goes quiet. You're watching that bird fly through the woodland, catching this pheasant, and as soon as your bird catches something, it could be 2 fields away, you could have been aching, you could be really tired, you could have a bad ankle. As soon as your bird catches something, your adrenaline goes through the roof. You're sprinting over to your bird, you're climbing fences that you can never climb if your bird hadn't caught something, getting there to dispatch and help your bird make in, and then your bird has a nice warm meal, fills its crop, and then you go home, and it's the satisfaction there for me. I don't go out to kill as many things as I can. I'll go out to watch a bird of prey do what it naturally would do in the wild. Our household has always been one of them where we've always had animals. I was always that kid in school that would always have a random animal, and people would come round and I'd have a hedgehog, or I'd have rescued a seagull or something like that. And I really wanted bullfinches initially, and my dad said to me when you get to, I think he said 12, I was about 8 at the time, he said, you can have a pair of bullfinches, but you need to show me that you've done your research and all of that sort of stuff. So I was in the garden researching bullfinches, and I looked up and there was a kestrel sat on the roof, and it had equipment on its legs. And I called my dad out and I said, what's that bird up there and why has it got leather on it? And he explained to me that you could actually train birds of prey, and you could hunt with them and do all these exciting things. And then the bullfinches went out the window, and I was saying, I want a kestrel. I went to the library at school and I took out this book. It was a kid's book, and it was about a family of kestrels raising chicks, and I just, I was obsessed from that point on. When I was 13, we raised and trained a barn owl, and she was our first bird. Not technically a falconry bird, she's never been out hunting, never done any of that sort of stuff, but she taught me a lot. We've still got her now. And then a year after that is when I got my first Harris hawk, which are they're a very common bird in falconry, but I absolutely love them because where I live, the hunting land that I've got, they're absolutely perfect. They work well with the dog, and there's nothing they can't do really that I can't use them for. So yeah, I think they're great, and I've still got her to this day as well, my first ever bird. Going out hunting, I like to get on the land at first light as soon as everything's waking up. So I'm up as early as I can be, get the birds that were taken on that day, weigh them, make sure they're all happy and healthy and they're okay to go out hunting. Prepare your food for that day. You make sure your telemetry is charged up, is working. You then put them in their travel boxes, put them in the van. You get to the land, get your bird out. You take off its leash, swivel, muse jesses. You put on your flying jesses and your telemetry. Then you're ready to go. I don't think there's any words to describe it, how you can go from a bird that wants nothing to do with you. If it wanted to, it could fly off and live in the wild, and it would be perfectly happy to do that, to a bird that then wants to actively hunt with you because it knows that you will help it succeed in the wild. It's indescribable. If you were to look at my Harris hawk and look at a Harris hawk in the wild in America, they're the same bird. They're not domesticated like dogs and ferrets and things like that. They are the wild species. They're the real deal. A big part of falconry isn't just learning about birds of prey. It's learning about what you're catching, your quarry. So I love and respect my quarry just as much as the birds of prey, because without them I wouldn't have any reason to have birds of prey. So I love watching the pheasant getting away as much as I love watching my bird killing something and catching its prey. You don't want to be mugging anything. You don't want to catch a young pheasant that's trapped against a fence, that's got no way of getting away from the predator. It wants to be a flush where the pheasant gets up, is flying, and it's a fair flight. Watching that pheasant getting away, sometimes watching that rabbit beat my bird to its warren, I think it's amazing, because it adds to the excitement. It adds to the next flight that you have, because it makes it so much more tense because the last one got away. It's taught me a lot of patience. With falconry, in order to succeed, you need to be patient. The most rewarding thing for me when it comes to falconry is looking at your bird after you've had a successful day out hunting. It's caught something, it's had a nice warm crop of whatever it's caught, it's happy, sat on its perch, preening, bathing. Even if you don't catch anything, as long as everyone's back happy and healthy after a day hunting, no injuries, you got your bird back safe, that for me is the most rewarding thing. But definitely watching your bird content and happy after doing what it's naturally bred to do.